YouTube, what's going on? James here, coming at you with a brand new video. Today's video is basically something that I get asked about on a daily basis. Like literally I get like 4 or 5 DMs a day about this very question. Everyone always wants to know how much food they should eat, what their macros should be, what they need to do in order to lose weight, gain weight, or just kind of shred up. And so I figured what better way to address it than creating a video talking about the subject of macros, how to figure out your own macros so that you can kind of take better control of your diet, of what your physique looks like, of where you want to go. So today's video is about finding your macros, figuring them out for yourself so you can kind of have some more accountability. If you're not familiar with If It Fits Your Macros or flexible dieting, it's basically a way of kind of living your life, handling your nutrition in a way where you're not stuck in a rut where you're eating the same exact foods day in, day out. Nobody wants to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli 7 meals a day for 365 days a year. Not enjoying what you're eating, and there's only so many ways you can cook chicken and rice. Allowing you to have some flexibility where you can have, like, you know, some ice cream or some cereal or something that's not necessarily good for you, and still not go overboard, not mess your body up, and not end up in a shitty situation. So basically, you got your 3 macronutrients. You got carbs, fats, and proteins. They all serve a purpose. You got to have a good balance of each. This is not addressing, you know, ketogenic style diets. It's not addressing like Atkins style, like high protein diets. This is just normal kind of bodybuilder style diet. So good mixture of fats, proteins, and carbs. Okay, if you're trying to do keto or Atkins, this will help you figure out total calories, but it will not help you figure out a good breakdown of macronutrients for that style of dieting. So you got your 3 macronutrients. You got the proteins, carbs, fats. Protein basically allows for recovery. It allows you to rebuild muscle. It allows you to build new muscle. So that's essential. Fats, healthy fats, they basically regulate hormone production. So your testosterone, your estrogen for women, kind of your thyroid. It helps regulate the thyroid so that your body functions properly. This is actually a huge thing with a lot of competitors like bikini physique, bodybuilding. A lot of times they'll end up dropping their fats super low along with low carbs, and it ends up messing up their thyroid, messing up their hormone production, and they end up having long-term side effects and rebounds because of that. So it's important that you get the right amount of fats in your diet on a daily basis. The third one, carbohydrates, basically that allows you quick energy. It helps with your glycogen stores in your muscles. So your body stores the carbs as glycogen in your muscle, allows you to readily access it when you need to perform, you know, when you need to do something. It's what your body goes to right away, immediate. It's quick energy. So I'm going to go through a quick, easy way for you to calculate out your macros. I'm going to put it in the description box below in case I go kind of quick, and in case you want to look back on this and kind of figure them out for yourself. Number 1, we got to figure out your weight. So weigh yourself, figure out how much you weigh. All right. Step 2, we got to figure out your activity level. Okay. This is a sliding scale. It's based off from 11 to about 16. Okay. This is just general. All right. The numbers continue to go on. You know, guys like Michael Phelps who have high energy expenditures and are super lean, super active, they might be up near 20. You know, this is just general population, 11 to 16. Some people are going to be higher, some people are going to be a little bit lower. Basically, it's based off of your metabolism, your activity level, how much you work out. So to figure out this number, you're going to figure out how many hours a week you work out. Okay? If you don't work out at all, you're going to put a 0. Okay, so 0 hours of working out. So 0 hours of working out, that equals an 11. So you're going to use the 11 for your activity level. If you're like most people and you work out 10 to 15 hours a week, you're going to put a 14. You know, if you work out over 20 hours a week, you're like a superstar, professional athlete, high-level games competitor, you're going to be at 16. Okay? Like I said, you may be higher, but for the purpose of right now, start yourself at 16, and then you can always adjust from there. Okay? If you work out less than 5 hours a week, you're going to be about 12. 6 to 9 hours, you're going to be around that 13 range. 16 to 19, you're going to be about the 15 range. Most people are going to fall into these three right here, 13 to 15, I feel like. Once you know how many hours a week you work out, you got your activity level number. So you're going to take this number, and that's your activity level. Okay? If you have an active job, you do construction, you're on your feet all day, you're working long hours, not sitting at a desk job, okay? You're gonna add 0.5 to whatever number. So let's say I work out 10 hours a week and I have an active job doing like construction. I'm gonna add 0.5, so I'll go 14.5 for my number. Let's say I don't work out at all, but I have an active job. I'm a nurse, maybe. I'm gonna add 0.5, so I'm gonna be at 11.5, okay? So now you have your weight, you have your activity level, okay? Now we need to figure out your goal, because this is going to determine the next part, okay? So figure out your goal. Are you trying to maintain? Are you trying to just change your body composition a little bit, but you want to stay at the same weight? Or are you trying to bulk? Are you trying to add some muscle, add some weight? Or are you trying to cut, okay? Are you trying to drop some body fat, drop some weight, okay? 3 different categories, okay? If you're just going to do maintenance, then you're going to take your activity level, multiply it by your weight, and that's going to give you the number that you're going to follow, okay? And that's going to be your maintenance calories, okay? If you want to cut, you're going to drop that anywhere between 5 and 20%. I would err on the side of lower, so start off slow and go with 5%, and then gradually increase it depending on how your body responds. The goal is always to do the most amount of changes with the least amount of work. So that means you don't want to cut your calories drastically. You want to try to lose weight while cutting your calories as little as possible, okay? If you can drop, 2 pounds a week with only a small 5% decrease in your maintenance, then you're doing all right. Because if I cut my calories by 20% and then I hit a plateau, or I can't continue to lose weight, then I gotta do something drastic. I gotta continue to cut my calories to an unhealthy level, or I gotta increase my activity level through cardio or some sort of thing that's going to make it kind of rough, okay? So start with 5%, work up to 20%, okay? So you'll take the maintenance number and you'll take away 5% of that number, and that's going to be your cutting calories. Or if you're trying to bulk, you're going to do the reverse, 5 to 20%. Same thing, start off slow. You don't want to throw on a ton of body fat, so start out slow. So add 5% to whatever this number is, okay? And that's going to be your goal calorie number, okay? So basically, I put it up over here. So we take your weight. Let's make up some dude. He's 165 pounds. So 165 pounds. Let's say he works out about 7 hours a week. So that's a 13. So we'll take 165 times 13. That equals 2,145 calories. So on a daily basis, this dude is going to burn 2,145 calories just going through his normal daily routine, okay? He's going to stay at maintenance, okay? If he wanted to cut, let's say he would drop this number by 5%. So he would multiply 2,145 by 0.95, and that would be the number that he would cut at. If he wanted to bulk, he'd multiply it by 5%, okay? So he would take that 2,145 and he'd multiply that by 1.05, and that would give him his bulk calories, okay? So now we have our calorie number. So that's the key, okay? That's the first step out of the way. Now, knowing this number, we got to figure out what our macronutrients are, okay? The first one you're going to figure out your protein. You guys should know protein, for every gram of protein, it's 4 calories, okay? So keep that in mind for later, because that's going to be big, all right? So basically, in order to find our protein, we're going to take our weight in kilos, and we're going to multiply that by 2. So this dude is 165 pounds. We're going to convert that to kilos. So the conversion is 2.2. Okay, so we're going to divide 165 by 2.2, and that's going to give us 75. So he's 75 kilos. So we're going to take that 75. We're going to multiply it by 2. It's going to give us 150. So for this guy, his protein level on a daily basis is going to be 150 grams. That's going to be his number to hit. All right. So now we have his protein. Now we're going to figure out his fat. Okay, because that's the second easiest one to figure out. You need to figure out protein and fat before you can figure out carbs. All right? For every gram of fat, it's 9 calories, okay? So in order to find his fat, we're gonna find his weight in kilos, and we're gonna basically just use that number, okay? I put times 1 just so you guys have a frame of reference. So we're gonna find his weight in kilos. So he's 165, divide by 2.2 equals 75 kilograms. So his fat grams are going to be at 75. So on a daily basis, he's going to eat 75 grams of fat. Okay? So now we have his protein, 150, and we have his fat, 75. Okay? From there, we're going to figure out his carbs. Okay? So figuring out the carbs is a little bit more complicated, but so far it's been easy, so you got to have a little complications. Okay? So basically, in order to find his carbs, we're going to have to subtract. We're going to take the calories from fat, or we're going to take his fat grams, and we're going to find out how many calories that is. Then we're going to take his protein grams, and we're going to find out how many calories that is. We're going to add those two numbers together, and we're going to subtract them from our initial calorie number. Okay? So for this example, the original number was 2,145 calories. All right? He has 150 grams of protein. Every gram of protein is 4 calories. Okay? So 150 times 4 is 600. So he's at 600 calories from protein. Then his calories from fat, there's 9 calories in every gram of fat. So we're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply 75 by 9, and that gives us 675. Okay, so now we're going to add 600 and 675. 600 is the calories from protein. 675 is the calories from fat. We're going to add those two numbers together, and we're going to subtract them from 2,145, and that's going to give us 870 calories. Okay, so he's going to end up with 870 calories of the total 2,145. 870 of them is going to be from carbs. Okay, just like protein, carbs have 4 calories for every gram. Okay. So we take that 870, we divide it by 4, because 4 calories per gram. It gives us 217.5. Okay, so 217.5. For the purpose of this, we're just going to round it up to 218. So now we've calculated out his maintenance calories and maintenance macros. So his maintenance calories, 2,145. Okay, based off his activity level and his weight. Then his maintenance macronutrients, protein 150 grams, fat 75 grams, carbs 218. Now we have what his maintenance numbers are going to look like. Really the only number that's going to change if he wanted to cut would be his carbohydrate number. Okay, obviously his protein and his fat are based off of his weight, so that's not going to change. So if he decided he didn't want to do maintenance anymore, he wanted to cut, he's basically going to do 5% of that 218, okay? And that will be his number, because these two numbers will stay the same, all right? Pretty simple, all right? Like I said, we're figuring out the weight. Then we're going to find our activity level on the scale. Once we find our activity level, we're going to multiply the two together. From there, you can make some adjustments if you want to bulk or if you want to cut. Once you've made your adjustments to the calories, then we're going to figure out our protein, and that's your weight in kilograms times 2, and then we're going to find our weight, our fat macronutrients, and that's our weight in kilograms times 1. We're going to convert both of those to calories. So we're going to take our protein number, and we're going to multiply that by 4. We're going to take our fat number, and we're going to multiply that by 9. Add those two together, subtract them from our initial calorie basis, and that's going to give us the amount of calories from carbs that we're going to eat. Then we're going to divide that number by 4. That's going to give us our carbs for the day. All right. It's pretty simple. All right. It looks really complicated on here, but like I said, I put the stuff below so you guys can have something to look at. I could also put together a spreadsheet. I don't know if anyone's interested in that. I'll put together a little spreadsheet, easily figure out your macros. And if you're interested in that, let me know, because I can put that together. I think that might be helpful for some people. The next thing that you need to remember with this is personally, I have my clients keep track of fiber and sugar as well. Sometimes the numbers can be right, but your body may not show the difference because maybe you're doing too much sugar, maybe you're not doing enough fiber, and so your body holds on to a little bit more. So I have my clients keep track of fiber and sugar as well. Basically, for the fiber, I have them do 15% of their carbs in fiber. So 15% of 218, let's see what that is. 0.15 times 218. So that'd be 32.7. Okay, so basically 33 grams of fiber per day, and that's their number to hit. And then I, as a general rule of thumb, unless you're doing like a cheat meal or a cheat like dessert, I tell my clients to keep their sugar at no more than twice their fiber. So with 33 grams of fiber, you don't want to have any more than 66 grams of sugar per day. Give yourself a little freedom there sometimes, though, you know, because everyone gets a cheat meal every now and then, or a cheat meal, I guess. Because if it fits your macros, you can kind of fit most things in. But I try to tell people not to go crazy on the sugar, just because it can be addictive and it can mess with a lot of people. Basically, figuring out your calories, figuring out your macros, then sticking with them. All right. So if you're going to make any changes, I would say stick with these numbers for about 2 weeks. Evaluate yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself on the scale, see how your body's adjusting to it, and then make adjustments. Don't freak out right away if nothing's happening, you know, because it takes your body a little bit of time to adjust, okay? So give yourself about 2 weeks and then start adjusting macros from there, okay? Let yourself get adjusted to these new macros, and then you can make some adjustments. So for example, let's say you're at a deficit. All right, you're not really losing as much weight as you wanted to. Let's say your goal is to lose a pound per week. Let's say you're not really losing a pound per week. You're maybe losing like half a pound. So maybe you up that to 10% instead of 5%. Same thing with the bulk. Maybe you're not really putting on weight as much as you want. So then you can scale that up. But I would give yourself about 2 weeks and then adjust, okay? Like I said, leave a comment below if you guys have any questions, any comments, concerns. I'm happy to help, happy to kind of offer up some advice. So leave a comment below. Shoot me a DM also on Instagram or Twitter if you do have some questions and you don't feel comfortable leaving them below. I'm happy to help. Let me know what you guys think of this type of informative video. If you want some more of these, I'm happy to create them. Starting to kind of try to build the channel up a little bit with some variety in content. So let me know what you guys think. If you want more of these types of videos, I'm happy to do them. I don't mind getting kind of technical every now and then. Also, we got some new stuff coming from Gunsmith in the next couple weeks. Brand new hoodies, t-shirts, baseball tees, all sorts of cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.